Hey, hey, hey. Welcome. I'm your humble host, Fizz Music, and this right here, this is Urban Politics. I want to thank you all for liking and subscribing as you do. Please, as soon as you have a chance, take your little cell phone over to YouTube, like and subscribe. Fizz Music, Urban Politics. Without further ado, I want to jump right into it like a car and drive because there's all types of tasty and delicious politics to sink our teeth into. First of all, let's talk about what the media has been obsessed with lately: balloons, balloons, balloons. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, balloons all over America, right? So, a balloon was shot down over North America. The U.S. government determines the balloon is not part of China's spy balloon operations, unlike the other one they shot down. We'll talk about that in a minute. But this one right here, the one that they shot down, the one that I think it was Trudeau in Canada called, Biden. That's the part they ain't talking about. Called Biden and said, hey, yo, got a spy balloon over here. You know what I'm saying? Is there any way you can send some NATO planes and just shoot that thing out the air? And that's what happened. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So they did that. That one's appeared to not be a part of this China spy balloon operations. Um, they've claimed to not be able to find debris from it. And then they claimed that bad weather conditions are a reason they can't find debris from it and stuff like that. There's just a huge lack of information on any of this stuff. They claim they shot it down. They can't find the debris. They say that the debris because it's in a bad area with bad weather, and then they were saying it's no big deal, it's benign anyway. So why even look for it? So then they called off to look or the search or whatever for the debris. So they say there's a lot they're not saying about some of this debris and all this other stuff. And I think that's by grand design, ladies and gentlemen. You can do a lot of Googling and all that stuff on your own and fall into the rabbit hole that is this madness. But there's something going on with these spy balloons. But for whatever reason, they don't want to share too much with the public. But you know what I'm saying? Biden did shoot these ones down. It was over North America. So that was a good look for him. As a president, he stepped up and shot them down. I don't care what they are. Whether they collected information or it's a foreign entity or whatever, shot him down. That's what a president's supposed to do, right? Um, Biden did order the shooting down of the balloon. He's due to meet with Xi Jinping and said that he would not apologize for shooting it down. Now, what he's talking about there, what I'm talking about there when I jumped to Biden is he's due to meet with Xi Jinping, you know what I'm saying, of China. And there was this other spy balloon that was a Chinese spy balloon, right? That they did, find floating around, and they had reported that on the news. Let's talk about that. Okay. The Chinese spy balloon was carrying equipment the size of 3 buses, and it was capable of collecting signals, intelligence, and taking photos. It traveled over sensitive sites in Montana. The balloon is controlled by the Chinese military that has conducted surveillance over at least 40 countries across 5 continents in recent years. So there it is. You know what I'm saying? The Chinese military, they're obviously flying these balloons over other people's airspaces, over other people's countries, over other people's continents, gathering information. That ain't right, but that's like a nosy neighbor. You know what I'm saying? They want to know what's going on over there. What military capabilities do they have? Are they better than ours or the same as ours or worse than ours? They want to know. So they got to fly a balloon over to people's airspace and try and eavesdrop on them. But China, that's illegal and they need to cut that out. But they're definitely doing it. Biden did what he was supposed to do. He got a chance to look real presidential, real strong by shooting down some balloons. They were making jokes about it on all the late night, comedy shows or whatever. And I do think it is pretty laughable that here we are, you know what I'm saying, in 2023, some of the most sophisticated things that they have to gather information are balloons, spy balloons. And how's it a spy balloon? It's a balloon. It's not low key. It's a balloon. Everybody can look up and see it. It travels slow. It's a balloon. Anyway, this one Chinese balloon they found though did have a lot of stuff going on inside. They said it was it had a payload the size of 3 buses. That's huge. That's a lot. So it's like, hold up, they had all that stuff going on inside this balloon. It's gathering information and all this other stuff that they may be doing and all that. Why is that even necessary? Why does China need to know that much about other people? Are they just nosy or what? Are they just making sure? I think China is kind of like the Batman of the superpowers. They want to make sure that they know everybody's weakness. I want to know everybody's weakness. Know what everybody got going on. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they doing. Gathering information through balloons. That is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. That was hilarious. But the news cycle this week was kind of dominated by that. Just balloons, balloons, balloons. And I'm like, I get it. And then there were some people that were saying that because of course after they found these balloons, then they start to broaden their search, or you know what I'm saying, and then they're finding all these other entities in the sky or whatever. And they said some of this stuff could be weather balloons from different countries or whatever. Some of it could be alien aircraft or whatever. Come on, man. I'm like, well, you know, I'm not gonna front. I do believe that aliens, they're out there. Something's out there. But they come in way more sophisticated than balloons or just floating around crap in the sky, I think. You know, so that is what it is. But and it also lets you know how they just been sleeping. All this time you sleeping. All this different stuff comes into our airspace and the government don't know about it. You know what I'm saying? All that money we pay for military and the military don't know about it. Y'all ain't checking on that type of stuff. I mean, literally stuff that's close to home. Literally, they might be flying over your home as we speak, but they ain't checking in on that. So some people are like, it's kind of good that this happened because it made them kind of ratchet up, you know what I'm saying, their surveillance of these type of things. Because there's obviously things that come into our airspace that we don't know nothing about. These things could be collecting information or spreading some kind of pestilence or disease or something like that. So, wow. That is what it is, ladies and gentlemen, but that's what's going on. Anyway, moving on, let's talk about President Biden. Now, there are pros and there are cons to Mr. Biden being our 2024 presidential nominee on the Democratic side. You know what I'm saying? I say our, I don't mean it like that because it's not necessarily my party. I'm probably going to vote for the Democratic nominee, probably because that person will hold probably most of my interest at heart. So I'm voting my interest in voting with that party. Does not mean that's what I am. Once again, I build myself as an independent because I'm voting the person and not the party. But let's talk about the person. Joseph Robinette Biden. He got some pros and he got some cons, right? Let's talk about the pros. All right, under Mr. Biden, we have 2 years of accomplishments. 10.7 million jobs added. That ain't nothing to sneeze at. That's a whole lot. They were saying that might be a lot more that's been added under any other presidency. You can do the numbers on that. But 10.7 million jobs added. Chef's kiss on that. Looks real good. Unemployment rate is just 3.5%. That's pretty good. That's really, really good. Unemployment rate of 3.5%, especially after coming out of a pandemic and all of that stuff. That looks real good. 10.5 million small businesses created. That's cool. They claim that America runs off of small businesses, your moms and your pop businesses. So 10.5 million small businesses were created. I love to see that. I would wonder, though, how many of those jobs are internet jobs or internet based. Not that that is to discredit them or anything. I'm just wondering, really for my own edification. But I would wonder about that. But I'm sure that the internet has a big piece or a big part in that right there. But that's something major right there. 10.5 small businesses created when the country runs off a small business. That's huge. 20,000 in student debt canceled. That's big right there, because there's plenty of people like myself who don't have anywhere near $20,000 in student debt, but there are some people who have $20,000 and just under that. So the fact that they're able to get relief. Now, there were plenty of people who said that this wasn't enough. It was too little, too late. Whatever, it's something. Something's always better than nothing. $20,000. 50, 60, 70, 80,000, $100,000 would have been better. But in this political climate, the fact that man could even get, both sides to agree to $20,000 in student loan forgiveness, that's huge right there. Hats off to him. So that's a plus for Biden. Signed a $550 bill. Infrastructure bill. Yes, so $550 billion infrastructure bill, and we have needed a lot of work on the infrastructure in this country for a long time. Infrastructure is your roads, your bridges, your highways, your byways, stuff like that. LaGuardia Airport looking like it's about to fall apart and all of that stuff. So all of that good stuff that you've heard about that needs to happen around here a long time. So some of the bridges and stuff in your city, here in the state I'm from, the Ohio Bridge. I want to say like maybe it was maybe last year around this time or something like that. There was a trucker who I think lost their life or was about to lose their life or something like that because the bridge collapsed and stuff like that. This $550 billion is going to right some of those wrongs. It's going into some of these bridges that haven't had any work done on them literally in 100 years. So that's huge right there. That came to you, Mr. Biden. He signed the Inflation Reduction Act. Yeah, which is huge. A lot of people don't know the inflation. Oh my lord, the Inflation Reduction Act. What it does is lowers prescription drugs. It invests in clean energy. It creates millions of jobs, and it reduces the federal deficit. All paid for by corporations and the rich. Big stuff right there coming to you under Mr. Joseph Robinette Biden, right? Those are huge. Those are our pros. Those are the things that he has delivered in his 2 years while he's been up there in Capitol Hill. So hats off to him. I do think this is big stuff right there, right? Now let's talk about the cons. And it's not a lot of them. It's interesting because a lot of times when I sit here and I think about the 2024 presidential election, and I think, what is my only apprehension to voting for Joseph Biden? And my only apprehension is his age. That's all I got. And that's sad. Because, you know what I'm saying? You wouldn't think that a person's age would be something that would stop them from doing the job. Now, the job of president is extremely stressful. It's extremely hard. These are huge decisions. He's poised for these decisions because he's been in government life for 30 plus years. So there's some of that. You know what I'm saying? He was vice president. He's been in Congress forever. Who's more poised? You know what I'm saying? For the position of president, the only drawback is the man is in his 80s. He's in his 80s. Think about that. Okay, so look. Cons. Joe Biden is 80 years old. He will be 84 in 2024. So think about that. We'll be doing this whole presidential thing again. This man will be 84 years old. Now, I don't think if you're 80 years old, you should be working anywhere. But your DAMN sure is you probably should definitely not be president at 80, 84 years old. Come on now. At 80, 84 years old, I'm sure you're getting up 3 times a night to go to the bathroom. I'm sure you are at 80, 84. Come on now. You know what I'm saying? At 80, 84, it's got to be hard to get around. That's why we watch them trip up the steps. Come on. You got to be losing your memory, your eyesight. It used to be. You're 80 years old. He'll be 84 when we do this thing again. So that's a big deal, man. Our president is elderly, right? He's the oldest president in history. Now that looks real cool in a history book. You know what I'm saying? Or when somebody go back to do the history of it, yeah, that looks real jazzy. He was the oldest president in history. Wow, hats off to him. But in real life, can he govern being that old? And that is a question that Democrats have to ask themselves. Now, here's another thing that I don't like. People always say, well, who else is going to run? Who else do they have on the left who could run? Who do they have? There's plenty of talent on the left. Plenty of talent on the left. A lot of people act like they don't want to give them a shot. I don't know why. You know what I'm saying? But there's plenty of talent on the left. Look, this guy isn't even in the run-up that I'm going to give you of talent that I think on the left. But Beto O'Rourke, if he wanted to do it, he could do it. He's got a coalition of the young. They love him to death. He could do it if he wanted to do it. I'm just putting that out there in the ether. He could do it if he wanted. Beto, you could do it, sir. He could do it if he wanted to, because he definitely have the support. He has the support of the young. So there's that. But there's some other people, I think, on the left who could definitely make it go at this presidential thing and maybe even be successful. Tell me what you think. Look, I'm going to give you this list here. And once again, you're always in the pushback zone. So push back. If you think this list is crazy, tell me so in the comments. Let me know that you do not dig the list. But check out my list. And this is not in any particular order. Excuse me, I'm not saying that I want this person who I'm going to name number one. And I'm just putting these names out there. I'm just putting them in the ether, right? Right. So check me out. Look, some options on the Democratic side. Gavin Newsom. the governor of California. This guy's kind of lightweight, been kind of putting himself even out there, maybe in that arena or whatever, acting like he's going to throw his hat in the ring, so to speak, for this presidential thing, with his TikTok and talking stuff about DeSantis and kind of coming at him or whatever. Gavin Newsom, you could do a lot worse than that guy for president. Nice governor of California. Do I love everything he's done? No. But I do like enough of what he's done to say, guess what? This guy could be president. He could pull it off. I think he could do it. So that's some talent on the left. Y'all need to look at uplifting that dude. Now, how about this? Pete Buttigieg. Now, right now, he is Secretary of Transportation. And he's doing a great job doing that. And he's enjoying that. He seems to be anyway. He's on all the Sunday talk shows talking about how he loves it and all this other stuff. But a lot of people are saying he's on all them Sunday talk shows because he's poisoned himself to make this run in 2024. Who knows? I would hope so. Because guess what? Pete Buttigieg, he would be a great president. He's a younger dude. Yeah, he's a younger dude. You know what I'm saying? He'd probably be one of the youngest presidents we ever had. We need that. We need some young, fresh blood in the Oval Office. He could be that guy. Like I said, though, he's kind of digging the job he has right now as Secretary of Transportation. So good luck pulling him away from that to run for the presidency. To spend all that money on something that's so uncertain when you already are doing a great job at a good job. Here it is, a good job, and you're doing a great job at that good job. He might just go ahead and just stay right there as Secretary of Transportation. Another guy who I was singing the praises of this dude back when we were looking for nominees for the presidency and stuff like that. Andrew Yang, I'm still a fan of his. I dig this dude. He's billed as an American businessman. When you Google him, that's what it says, American businessman. He wanted that guaranteed government income. He was talking about $1,000 a month for every American over the age of 18. Chef's kiss on that. I think that is huge. We still need it. Now, a lot of people will say, yeah, that's just the liberal in you. That's just the loving handouts guy in you. No. I talked about on this show how when we give people over 18 $1,000 a month, if they're pregnant, what they usually use it for is going towards their child that's coming into the world. If they're younger, they usually use it towards getting more education. People use that $1,000 a month on things that are pertinent and important to their lives, ergo pertinent and important to society. You know what I'm saying? If people can better themselves, that better society. $1,000 a month to every American over the age of 18. That goes a long way with bills. That goes a long way with a lot of other things. I support that. I also support, the child tax credit. That's a whole nother issue that ain't got nothing to do with Mr. Yang, but I'm just saying. Stuff like that is good because we put so much into the government. It'd be nice if they poured a little bit back into the people, right? Anyway, moving on. I do like Andrew Yang. I did like a lot of his policies. That was one of the big ones that I really loved, that $1,000 a month to every individual over 18 years of age. Bring him back. Democratic Party, bring him back. That young man was extremely intelligent. The Asian community, they were saying they didn't kind of like how he kind of leaned in to a lot of stigmas about them. One, how they're good at math and smart and stuff like that. Whatever. I think he can get past all of that and still be a good president. Now, my dad was saying he don't think America is ready for an Asian president. He don't think America is ready for an Asian man as president. Pops is probably right. But guess what? He's somebody who is definitely sitting on the bench in the Democratic Party. Bring that guy back to the forefront. That definitely would be a good primary, right? So, Hakeem Jeffries, the minority leader of the House of Republicans. The House of Representatives, excuse me. He is the minority leader of the House. You know what I'm saying? And the House obviously is, he's the minority leader. He's the Democratic leader in the House. This guy is amazing. I want to say one of the first, openly Islamic people in What I think he is the first Islamic speaker of the House ever. Speaker of the Democratic House ever. So this guy, he's amazing. This young man is on fire. Democratic Party. He's on the bench. He's a Democrat. Why not? Why not? Elevate him, man. Elevate him. That's another good person, man. That guy gives a great speech. He talks a lot about democratic values and democratic policies. And if you ask me, he's one of the best at articulating them. So I don't know why they're not elevating this young man. They need to be doing that. You know what I'm saying? So a TI is what a TI is, right? There's a whole lot of talent on the left, but they're just not necessarily pushing these people for whatever reason. Now, I think a big piece of it is that they're scared of how they'll play on the right, right? Another person who's, I did not mention her name just because she's already said she has no desire to run and already, you know what I'm saying, has said she has no desire to run. You know what I'm saying? AOC. You know what I'm saying? Alexandria Ocasio Cortez. That is my girl right there. You know what I'm saying? But why is she not running? Because she said there's a lot of things I'd have to do now, which would kind of, muffle the help that I can do for people if I was looking towards a presidential run, and I'm not on that. I'm here to do some actual good for people while I'm here. That's smart. I like that. She'd be great as president, but she don't want it, I don't think. You know what I'm saying? But she's another person who a lot of people on the left would poo-poo, giving her the nomination because they're like, people on the right hate her. And that's the thing. Is that what's going to dictate whether you get the nomination or not? People on the right hating you? Because people on the right are going to hate you, right? If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing as far as being a good Democrat, as far as being a good politician. If you're actually doing what you're supposed to be doing for the people on the right are going to hate you, right? If you're exposing all the corruption that they're involved in, people on the right are going to hate you, right? So we have to stop saying on the left, I don't want to give this person the nomination because they'll never play on the right. They'll never get any Republican votes. That may or may not be true. We saw Barack Obama get a whole lot of Republican votes that he wouldn't have got just because he made himself present in these places. He wasn't afraid to put the muscle behind the hustle and go to some of these places and talk to some of these people face to face. And if you do that, you can win some of these people over. Now, they might not go and yell it from the rooftops that they voted for your liberal self. They're not going to go tell their neighbor even that they're voting for your Democratic or whatever self. But you may have won that person over and you may have won their vote, and their vote can make all the difference. So that's what's up. So people need to stick to their guns, and people need to stop poo-pooing people's nominations because, like, oh, he or she is hated by the right. The right hates her so much she'll never get near one Republican vote. We shouldn't give he or she the nomination. Get that out of here. That's stupid to think. That's stupid to think because people are not always real with the way that they vote, right? A lot of people vote in silence, low key. Don't even let their significant other know how they're really voting. You don't know who you've touched. You just touch them. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about some food for thought. Food for thought by this lady. She goes by Medic Kim on Instagram. She got retweeted by Robert Wright. You know what I'm saying? And here's what she had talked about. She is like, your teachers are striking, your nurses are striking, your railway workers are about to strike. This when all that was going on. She said nobody wants to work anymore is deliberately obtuse. What nobody wants anymore is to work in understaffed, overburdened, underpaid positions so 2 dozen people can get rich. And that says it all, doesn't it, ladies and gentlemen? People are sick of that. People are sick of going so hard in these corporations and these companies, and all they're doing is making a few people at the top rich. It is what it is. And I really hate working for a place. Now, I'm going to speak from experience. I really I really hate working for a place that would give people a signing bonus but won't pay the people who are already there, giving their blood, sweat, and tears to the place. You know what I'm saying? Going there hard, staying late hours for the place. But you give a hiring bonus to some new jacks that you done bought in because you value new workers over the people who are tried and true and have been there and showed you that they have what it takes to make this place work. That's what's going on here in America, though. That's what's going on in America. They have so undervalued the worker, and that's just it's ridiculous. And that has led to where we're at now in this society, where people are kind of just they're tuned out. They're tuned out. You know what I'm saying? And they're sick of just going hard to make a few people at the top rich. You know, they're going to work every day. You know, they're working, 8, 9, 10 hours a day just so that their boss or CEO can sit somewhere on a beach with a Mai Tai in their hand, sipping it while they're working these hard hours at this job. While their kids grow up in front of their eyes. You know what I'm saying? People are sick of that. People are like, and especially since we had the pandemic and all that stuff, people are really starting to get their priorities in order and are starting to say, and work is important because I do have bills to pay, but time with my family is important. Time with my children is important. And nobody lays on their deathbed and says, "Oh, I wish I had worked more." You never hear that. What do you hear when people on their deathbed? I wish I had spent more time with family. I wish I had spent more time with friends. You know what I'm saying? I wish I had spent more time around loved ones. Word, word. That is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Before I get up out of here, let me talk about my beer of the week, IPA of the week. This is beer of the week. This right here is a delicious one. It is the Morning Commute Coffee Brown. That's what it is. Yes, the Morning Commute Coffee Brown. This is delicious by Outer Belt Brewing. Look at that can. It looks so executive and jazzy. Oh, it's delicious right there. It's a good brew. It says nutty and malty with a dash of vanilla and huge coffee aromas from locally roasted beans. Brewed and canned by Outer Belt Brewing. Never drink and drive on the Outer Belt or any other road ever. That's a heck of a message from Outer Belt Brewing, and this is some good stuff. Yes, the Morning Commute Coffee Brown. Delicious, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm looking for the percentage of alcohol in this. I can't even find it, but I know when I was sipping it, I definitely. Oh, 5.8. 5.8% alcohol, ladies and gentlemen, right there. If it was a snake, it would have bit me. 5.8% alcohol. This is some good beer right here. So if you got a little bit of money in your pocket, run out and get you that by Outer Belt Brewing. Good stuff. That is my time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your humble host, Fizz and Music. This right here is Urban Politics. I want to thank you all for liking and subscribing as you do. Please, as soon as you have a chance, take your cell phone over to YouTube, like and subscribe, Urban Politics. And oh my Lord, I'm about to start the show again. As always, ladies and gentlemen, see you around like a donut.